My best friend from Andromeda, a tale of two worlds colliding. The night began like any other in the quiet town of Silver Creek. The stars above were bright, and the sound of crickets filled the air. I was sitting on the roof of my house, staring through my small telescope, when I saw a light that wasn't a star. It moved fast, brighter and bigger, leaving a trail of silver fire across the dark sky. At first, I thought it was a meteor, but then it stopped right above the forest behind our school. It hovered for a moment, pulsing softly, before descending into the trees. The ground trembled lightly, and I felt a strange vibration in my chest, like a whisper I couldn't understand. The next morning, news spread through town that something had fallen from the sky. The adults dismissed it as a weather balloon or a drone, but I knew better. My curiosity burned like fire. I packed a flashlight, a camera, and my father's old compass. After school, I went straight into the forest. As I reached the clearing, I saw smoke rising between the trees. There, half buried in the soil, was a small silver craft, sleek, smooth, and glowing faintly blue. I touched it, and it was warm. Suddenly, a door slid open with a soft hiss, and I stepped back, my heart pounding. From the light inside, a figure emerged. It was tall and slender, with pale skin that shimmered like glass under the sunlight. Its eyes were large, deep, and glowing a soft violet. It looked at me and then smiled. "Don't be afraid," it said, in a voice that sounded both human and musical. "My name is Elra. I come from Andromeda." My legs almost gave out. An alien, a real alien, was standing in front of me. But instead of fear, I felt something else. Wonder. For days I visited Elra in secret. The ship had cloaked itself using some kind of invisible shield, so no one else could see it. Elra told me their people were explorers, traveling across galaxies to study new worlds. Something had gone wrong with their navigation system, and they had crash-landed near Earth. I brought Elra food, water, and even my old hoodie so they could blend in if needed. They didn't eat much. They said their body could convert sunlight and air into energy. But they loved Earth's air. "It smells alive," Elra said once, closing their eyes. In return, Elra showed me things I could never imagine. A small sphere from their world that projected stars when touched. A crystal that sang softly when held near the heart. And a bracelet that could create a soft shield of light when danger was near. We talked for hours. About life, about Earth, about Andromeda. Elra told me their homeworld had floating cities, oceans that glowed, and creatures that spoke through colors. I told them about my school, my annoying little brother, and how small I sometimes felt in the universe. "You're not small," Elra said once, looking at me with those glowing eyes. "Every thought, every dream, changes the flow of the stars. Even here." I laughed and said, "You sound like my science teacher and a poet mixed together." They tilted their head. "Maybe your teacher is wiser than you think." Our friendship grew quickly. We taught each other. I showed Elra how to play chess, how to skip stones, and how to say hello in 10 languages. Elra taught me how to listen, really listen to the world around me. How to feel the hum of life in every leaf, every breeze. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Elra looked worried. They said they had detected signals. Earth's satellites had begun scanning the area where their ship crashed. "If your governments find me," Elra said softly, "they might not understand. They might see me as a weapon." I promised to keep them safe. But secrets have a way of leaking. My friend Noah had followed me into the woods one day. He saw the ship and Elra. His jaw dropped. "Dude, is that an alien?" he whispered. I tried to explain, but Noah was too excited. He recorded a short video before I could stop him. The next morning, the video was online, blurry, shaky, but real enough to catch attention. Within a day, the forest was surrounded by scientists, drones, and government vehicles. I panicked. I ran to the clearing, but Elra's ship was already surrounded by bright lights and men in black suits. I tried to reach Elra, shouting, "They're not bad. Please don't hurt them." But someone grabbed me. I saw Elra standing in the center, calm but sad. Then, the ship began to glow brighter and brighter. A wave of energy swept through the clearing, knocking everyone to the ground. When I looked up, Elra was gone. The ship had vanished into thin air. For weeks, the town buzzed with rumors. Officials said it was a hoax, that no alien existed. But I knew better. Nights felt empty without Elra. I missed our talks, their laughter that sounded like wind chimes, and the way they looked at the stars, not with curiosity, but with love. Then, one night, as I sat alone on my roof again, I saw something strange. The stars in the sky shifted, slowly forming a pattern. It was a symbol, one Elra had drawn once on the forest floor. It meant friendship in their language. I gasped. The stars pulsed once, twice, then faded back to normal. But I understood the message. Elra was alive. They had made it home. The next morning, I found something glowing under my telescope. It was the crystal Elra had shown me, the one that sang. A small note was beside it, written in neat, strange letters that rearranged themselves into English before my eyes. It read, "To my friend of Earth, thank you for showing me what it means to belong. The stars remember kindness. When your world looks to the sky, remember, you are never alone." Tears filled my eyes. I held the crystal close, and it began to hum softly, like Elra's voice whispering. From across the galaxies, months passed. Life slowly returned to normal, or as normal as it could be after meeting someone from another galaxy. But something inside me had changed. I began to study astronomy seriously, spending hours at the local observatory. I wanted to understand the stars, to maybe find a way to reach Elra again someday. I even won a science competition for a paper on interstellar communication. I wrote it based on everything Elra had taught me. But one evening, something extraordinary happened again. The observatory's telescope picked up a strange pattern from Andromeda, rhythmic pulses that matched Earth's prime number sequence. It wasn't random. It was deliberate. I quickly decoded it using an old program I built. The message translated into one sentence. "The bridge between our worlds still stands." I smiled so wide that my cheeks hurt. I ran outside, looked up at the stars, and whispered, "I know. I'll keep it open." Years passed. I grew older, went to university, and became an astrophysicist. I dedicated my life to understanding intergalactic travel and communication. People thought I was driven by ambition, but only I knew it was friendship that guided me. One night, after decades of searching, I stood again in Silver Creek, the same forest, under the same stars. I was now a grown man, but the boy inside me still believed. The air shimmered faintly, just like before. A familiar hum filled the clearing. The ground glowed softly, and then, as if the universe itself was keeping a promise, the same silver ship appeared before me. The door opened, and a tall, graceful figure stepped out. "Elra?" I whispered. They smiled, the same smile that once lit up my world. "You kept the bridge open." I nodded, unable to speak. "We watched your world," Elra said. "You have grown, not just in knowledge, but in heart. And now it is time to share." They extended a hand. "Would you like to see Andromeda?" My heart raced. I looked up at the sky, the same stars that had brought us together. Then I took their hand. The ship rose silently above the forest, breaking through clouds and into the sea of stars. Earth grew smaller below, a blue marble surrounded by light. Elra guided the ship through streams of color and nebulae that danced like living art. As we passed through a gateway of energy, I saw Andromeda for the first time, its twin suns glowing, its oceans shining like liquid light, and floating cities drifting above clouds of gold. It was beyond beauty. "Welcome," Elra said softly, "to my world, our world now." They introduced me to their people, who looked at me with curiosity and warmth. Their society was peaceful, their technology beyond imagination, but what moved me most was their spirit. They lived in harmony, not competition. Knowledge was shared freely. Every voice mattered. Elra took me to a great hall of memory, where glowing crystals floated in the air, each one holding a story. One of them, pulsing softly, held an image me, standing in the forest that first day. "That's us," I said, smiling. Elra nodded. "We remember those who changed the course of stars." I spent what felt like months there, though time in Andromeda flowed differently. I learned about their energy sources, their way of healing through sound, and their art, which painted emotions directly into the air. But deep inside, I missed Earth, the sound of rain, the smell of pine, my family, my world. Elra understood. "You belong to both worlds now," they said. "The bond between us is not distance, it's understanding." Before I left, they gave me a small orb, glowing blue like their ship. "This will connect us when you need to speak again," Elra said. "It listens to the heart, not words." When I returned to Earth, no time had passed. The stars still shone in the same way. But everything felt different, as if I was seeing the world for the first time again. Years later, I helped develop a program for peaceful communication with extraterrestrial civilizations. It was called Project Bridge, named after what Elra had once said: "The bridge between our worlds still stands." Nations around the world supported it. We sent our first interstellar message toward Andromeda, not with fear or curiosity, but with friendship. And one quiet night, when the world's radio telescopes were all listening, we received a reply, a soft musical pulse that translated to, "Together, we will keep the stars alive." I smiled through tears, knowing my friend had kept their promise. Now, as I sit beneath the same night sky where it all began, I often tell children about the stars, not as distant suns, but as friends waiting to be known. I tell them that sometimes friendship isn't found next door or at school. Sometimes it comes from the other side of the universe. Elra's crystal still hums softly on my desk. It glows whenever I look at the sky, as if answering a silent call. And every time I see the constellation of Andromeda, I remember the day I met a stranger who became my best friend, and how two worlds, light years apart, learned to dream together. Because friendship, like starlight, never fades. It only travels, farther and farther, until it finds another heart willing to shine.